What is up, guys? Pizza here, obviously, and today we are back with more Reliving NXT. Yes, we are on to the second episode of NXT ever made, March 2nd, 2010. Show starts off pretty strong, and by pretty strong, I mean it's not a bad start. It's better than last week, where it was real slow. Right in here, we get right into a match. David Otunga coming out with R-Truth. He's going to face off against Darren Young, who has CM Punk in his corner again. Darren Young and the Straight Edge Society is such a woeful pairing. Like, I understand what they're trying to do with character-wise, where, yeah, they don't care. Darren Young really wants their approval, though, and that will make the crowd care about Darren Young because they see him getting rejected. It really doesn't. It really doesn't. Like, I know Punk is still cresting upwards in how hot and popular he's going to be, but he's still a hot item right now. He's top of the Straight Edge Society. He is still a hot ticket item. And so when you hear the commentators talk about it, and then you hear Punk talk about it every single week, I know it's week 2, but it's like 2 weeks straight of CM Punk directly saying, yeah, I don't really care about Darren Young. Yeah, I don't really care about Darren Young. If he wants to learn from the Straight Edge Society and lifestyle, then maybe he can, but I don't care about Darren Young. I don't know why I'm out here with him. Well, great, Punk. I don't know why you're out here either. Yeah, and because how hot he is, that opinion really, I think, is going to rub off on the fans because they don't care about Darren Young. I know I don't right now either, but they really don't. It was a pretty smooth match between Otunga and Darren Young, which is, because this is a rematch from last week. It's a lot smoother than last week, really is. It feels like they've worked it a little bit. The commentators are really bigging up Otunga and his big boy, big shot lifestyle. You know, he's married to so-and-so. He's been on TMZ. He's been on MTV. He's on such a... He met the president. Like, they're really bigging up his, like, big lifestyle. He's so cool. He's a popular persona. And which is fine. It's completely... It's such a flat persona, though. I don't know. Otunga just doesn't wear that persona well. And we're going to see somebody who does wear that, I don't care about people, I only care about me. We're going to see somebody who wears that persona a lot better than he does a little later. After a headlock, they finally get some noise out of the crowd. That's just because it's R-Truth slapping on the mat. You know, that typical, slap, 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 that pump up. R-Truth really gets the crowd going because they die immediately after the spot is over. And another note about Otunga is, Jesus Christ, you can really tell in these early days who they're pushing. I don't know if it tapers off later for other NXTs. Like, I feel like it does really in 5 years, you know, when I started watching NXT 2014, 2015 and stuff. Right now, though, man, you can tell who are the hot ticket items. In fact, I can tell you that the top 4 guys right now. Daniel Bryan, obviously, he is at the top spot. Then you got Wade Barrett. You got Wade Barrett right there, right behind him. Then you have David Otunga, and then Heath Slater. But Heath Slater, I feel like, is being pushed mainly just because he's with Christian, and Christian is so charismatic and a supportive coach for Heath Slater that everybody else is going to get on his side too. Also, I'm surprised for all you guys who are a bit older like I am. You might remember the fan page, the Facebook fan page. Yes, remember when Facebook actually was kind of a neat social hub? Yeah, the Facebook fan page, CM Punk is not impressed. I'm surprised that meme didn't start here because they keep hammering it home the entire match. Speaking of the match, getting back to that, it's a pretty good match overall. They look smooth enough together. Also, Punk is, at one point, there's a weird, they're Darren Young and Otunga are in the corner. If there is a painfully long shot, and I know Darren Young and David Otunga are doing something, the entire shot is taken up by CM Punk in the background, just playing with his gum. He's still chewing on it, but he's pulling it out with it and playing it with it between his fingers, and there's just a long strand. He takes over that entire shot. It's so gross that he's doing it. Like, there's a lot of headlocks in this match, by the way, which is why I'm not commenting on the match as much, and I'm going to other stuff. There's a lot of headlocks. Like, the headlock, burst energy, couple moves, headlock. It's a super safe, boring match. Which, I guess, fine. It's safe. But on the other hand, it's boring. There's just a lot of headlocks where they have a chat, and the crowd is silent. The crowd does pop, however. Speaking of the crowd being silent, the crowd does pop when Otunga hits Young to the outside, and then Luke Gallows comes over and starts intimidating R-Truth and distracting the ref. I don't know why. We're on this big storyline of the Straight Edge Society doesn't care, and then Luke Gallows comes out of nowhere to help. So Young and Otunga are back in the ring, and then Punk distracts Otunga by pulling his leg. Then Darren Young hits, I'm not sure what it was. It's not like a suplex. It's not a toss. It's not even really a hip toss. He just kind of like throws Otunga away. Like, for as smooth as this match was, this move was completely botched, I guess, or maybe it was planned for him to just, it was a, go and watch it, genuinely. It's, I don't know what Darren Young does here, but it wins him the match. Tossing Otunga away like a piece of trash, I guess, just wins the match for him. Otunga's really upset, and the Straight Edge Society leaves without Darren Young, because they still don't care, so why did Punk and Gallows interfere in the match? Don't know. Otunga shoves off R-Truth and is like, I want to be around you. And that's the end of the match. That's the end of the start of the show. Pretty good start, honestly. A lot better than last week. Speaking of, we're keeping up the energy because we go into a promo backstage for Daniel Bryan. Everybody's gotten promo packages so far. You know, a sit-down interview where you only see the wrestler and they talk a bit about their life and they show some FCW footage. Man, I was waiting for Bryan's, and Bryan's is just as good as I thought it would be. They are bigging this guy up as a star. They're like, he's an international star. He has wrestled all over the world. You know, he right as he graduated high school, he went to Shawn Michaels Academy. He's a submission and technical expert, which just to take an aside real quick, I know everybody's been trying to whitewash Smackdown versus Raw 2011 for the past few years. And be like, no, it was actually the best of the SmackDown games. Man, I miss SmackDown vs. Raw 2011. You're all wrong. You're all wrong and you're stupid. SmackDown vs. Raw 2011, even though I'm doing a lot of stuff with it right now, coming out soon, I promise. Even though I'm doing a lot of stuff with it right now, man, that game is hot garbage. It is the worst of the SmackDown vs. Raw series. I think the only reason people go back to it and look on it with a fond light is because it's the first game to have universe mode on it. But let me tell you, that universe mode is so terrible and so bare bones. Like, you could get the same amount out of it if you just played matches in Exhibition and set up your own storylines with the story manager. Like, that's it. It's such a terrible game. And another reason why it's terrible is not to mention the road to WrestleMania as being just horrible. But also, and I'm bringing this up while I'm talking about Daniel Bryan for a reason. Daniel Bryan is bigged up as a submission, technical, high-flying expert. This is March 2010. The game comes out later this year, and it removes, I don't know how many moves they removed, but a good number of them are submission, high-flying, and technical moves. Like, at least everybody in this game has a slow stand-up suplex. Like Sheamus Sheamus's running stuff, he's only got one, and it's a takedown. Sheamus does so much more than that. And then all the submissions they removed, and all these big technical high-flying, like, I know they just started really adding in more high-flying stuff, like jumping from the ropes and stuff, but there's so much more they could have added, and there's definitely so much that they removed. And the thing is it's not like they just cut out the moves entirely. And I know why they were doing it. I know they were doing it because, well, we don't like the old animated ones. We want it to be mocapped. Dude, some of those mocapped moves look like crap because they've got, like, just 2 or 3 wrestlers doing the mocaps. And so the movements aren't right. And it doesn't look great. And it looks weird for the sizing. But also, there are so many of the animated moves that look a lot better. And some of the animated moves are still in there. Like some of the weird reversals where it suddenly speeds up so quick. And I think the worst part about it is these moves aren't even removed. Like, when this game came out, not too long after, people just started digging into the code on the CD, and they found all of those moves. They're still in the game. They were just locked out so you couldn't access them. It's ridiculous, and it's amazing that people try and rose-tinted glasses look at that game now and be like, oh, it's so great. It wasn't. It was terrible back then. It's still terrible now. And this is one of those main reasons, is because they took out a lot of roll-up moves. They took out submissions, technical moves. It was really, really like the most basic wrestling game you could have. That's just a pet peeve I've had for several years, and this is my first time to actually be able to say it. So anyways, back to Daniel Bryan. Yeah, they're bigging him up. He's a huge star. He's done all this stuff. And he's also a big dork outside the ring. That's how basically the interview concludes, is that Daniel Bryan is a huge dork outside the ring, which I thought was nice. Miz comes in because Daniel Bryan's, then it cuts to backstage and he's getting checked out by the doctor. Miz comes in and he's like, he's still going on. And all the commentators are still bringing this up where Miz is like, he's got no charisma. Like Miz, I think, says he is a desert of charisma. And, like, Miz is wrong. I don't know who wrote this line for Miz. I don't know why they're bigging up that Daniel Bryan has no charisma. Dude, even now, in his second week, Daniel Bryan oozes charisma. Like, yeah, he doesn't really have a character yet, but you can tell there's so much charismatic about this guy. And I can't wait for it to start coming out, Anyways, Miz comes in and is like, "Tell you what, you're gonna go fight Wade Barrett, cause you gotta learn that we work when we're hurt." And then he gives Daniel Bryan such a stiff smack in the stomach. It looked like it hurt, and Daniel Bryan did a good job of not being hurt by it, but man, it looked like that smack hurt. So the doc tapes him up, and he's just sitting there, just angry white boy. And of course, the one thing they show of Bryan's match with Jericho last week is when he smacks his kidneys into the edge of the table. That's the one thing they show of Bryan last week. And you know what? Gosh darn it, you should show that. That's the only important part of that match. And then we cut to Otunga, who's hurt, and he's just holding his head, and he's like, man, he gives a horrible promo. God, it's such a bad promo. I'm so glad R-Truth came in like 5 seconds later and interrupted it. Because, he's like, why'd you push me way out there, man? What are you doing? And so they get into a brawl, and the camera shakes me to literal nausea. I had to look away because the camera shaking was so bad. And they brawl to a symphony of silence. Nobody cared. You can hear the arena. You can tell they're watching it. Nobody cares. It's worthless to them. And, yeah, that's kind of how I felt about it. I was like, all right, they're brawling. End of that partnership. Woohoo. And then Jericho and Barrett come out for their match. Jericho starts a promo. God, he had so little charisma at the start of this promo for some reason. I literally thought he was going to come out like IRS and say, "Listen up, all you tax cheats." That's all the pop and sizzle Jericho had at the beginning of his promo. I don't know how, because Jericho is such a charismatic guy and character. And then they air a promo package for Wade Barrett like they've been doing with everybody else. And it's really good. And you know how I was talking about earlier? Otunga just doesn't have that personality or charisma to go along with, I don't care if you don't like me, I'm the best. I like me. Wade Barrett is that guy. He just, from the moment he steps on screen to his promo package, he exudes I don't care if you don't like me. And that's fine, because I'm going to be the best anyways. I'm going to kick your ass. He exudes that character. Like, oh my god, it's great. And this promo package was great. They really bigged up his street fighting background, his bare knuckle, fighting, tape fists, all that. It was really good. It made me want to see more of Wade Barrett. It's very clear from the way they're bigging up his character it's like, when he says he doesn't care, that's fine, because he can kick anyone's ass, and he's going to win. So, really great package for Barrett. They're really bigging him up. That's why I said he's number 2 right behind Bryan right now, is because of this promo package and his pairing with Jericho. Bryan comes in afterwards, after they do their entrance. Bryan comes in, he's all bandaged up. Miz is nowhere to be seen. Comes out, Jericho's doing commentary, which is great. Jericho actually gives props to Bryan. This is another reason why Bryan is on the top of their list to be pushed, is because when asked about his match with Bryan last week, because Cole's out there, he's talking to him, being like, what'd you think of him last week? He's like, yeah, no, he was great. I can see why they call him one of the best in the world. He still lost, though. And for heel Jericho, I don't know why. That is a perfect... I think it's something that only heel Jericho and a couple other people could pull off. That is such a great endorsement of Daniel Bryan, and such a furthering of Jericho's own character. Is be like, yeah, He was really good in the ring last week. He still lost to me, so I'm still the best. It worked perfectly. I do want to point this out. I have this written down. He does, when he talks about Barrett, Jericho's like, the majesty of this man. And just knowing that Barrett eventually gets turned into King Barrett a few years later, I don't know why that line just gave me a little bit of a giggle. So Barrett has complete control of this match. Bryan gets almost nothing. Barrett just smashes him down, focuses on his back, throwing him into the turnbuckle, suplexing him. Barrett does a beautiful backbreaker at one point. It's nowhere near as good as like Bret Hart's or somebody, but it's a beautiful backbreaker. It looks like it hurts. And that's the story of this match, is he's just focusing on Bryan. Bryan is hurt. Bryan, nothing to do. Gets hit to the outside. Bryan is still... I love the way they frame this shot. And if you go back and watch it, you know exactly what shot I'm talking about. They're both on the outside. Bryan is hanging onto the ringside. Barrett's walked away a little bit to recover. And then all you hear, because all the camera is focused on, is Barrett. And then all you hear from outside is, wow! A much manlier scream than that. It's Bryan. He comes running off the ring post, double flying knees into Barrett's face. And you don't see it at all. And I know everybody in the arena could see it, but they still reacted like it was a shock, because he just comes out of nowhere and hits Barrett with it. It is the most offense he gets in this match, but it's also the coolest move he could have pulled off in this match. So they fight for a little bit more. Barrett gets back inside the ring. Bryan hops up on ringside. And this part, I don't know if this was a botch or not, or if it was planned. If it was a botch, it goes to show just how good these two are in the ring, because they cover it up and make me go, man, I can't really tell whether that was a botch or not, because Bryan jumps up, he's hanging on ringside, he jumps up to the top rope, about to jump off it, he slips as he jumps onto the top rope and falls down. And they recover so well that I genuinely can't tell whether it was planned or not. It was really good. Pinfall doesn't count, they get back up, and then it's not his named finisher yet, but Barrett picks him up and hits him with the wasteland. And 1, 2, 3, Bryan's done, because Bryan was working hurt. The crowd was super into this match. Like, not like they would be for like a main event, main show feud, but for NXT, this is the most volume I've heard out of them in 2 weeks. They did really good on getting this match over and getting both of these guys over. Jericho, even right as he's getting up to leave to congratulate Barrett, Jericho even makes a last comment. He's like, yeah, Daniel Bryan lost tonight because he's injured. Which basically says, yeah, if he hadn't been injured, he might have been able to take Barrett on to a much better fight. But because he's injured, he lost. Which I think is great. That covers Bryan so well. It further emphasizes, yeah, Bryan's injured. There was no way he was winning this fight. But if he wasn't injured, I'll let you think that. And then he's just hilarious. Heel champion Jericho goes in, kicks him down, locks him into the walls of Jericho because he's such a prick and he can. And Barrett just stands there going like, yeah, we're tough. We're heels. It gives so much sympathy to Bryan, but it also makes Jericho look like such a prickhead champion, which he was. And I really like that. Barrett had a great showing. He looked real smooth. I know I said the first match was smooth. This was super smooth. This is something you could see them doing 2 or 3 years from now. That's how good it was. And then we get Heath Slater and Christian. They're working out backstage. Oh my God, Christian is he is Captain Charisma for a reason. He is such a baby face, and he's a real good... I feel like everybody so far has just been like, except from Jericho and Barrett, every mentor is at odds with their rookie. Christian and Slater, completely a team. Dude, I kind of want to go back to like WWE 12 or something and make them a tag team. I don't know what I'd call it. But they have such good charisma working here together. And he talks about it. He's like, yeah, you did good. It was your first match, Slater. Here's some pointers on how to be better next time. Here's how you can do better. Like, this was great. I love to see it. Then they go back to working out and be like, yeah, come on, let's do some more reps. You got this. 1, 2. It was a beautiful segment. I loved it. And then we get Matt Striker. God, you know I love seeing Matt Striker. I love seeing Matt Striker out here because it's such a nostalgia pop for me. He's interviewing Justin Gabriel and Matt Hardy. Holy crap. The crowd is never as loud as they are when Matt Hardy is on screen. This crowd goes man, I don't remember Matt Hardy being this over. I knew he was over. I know fans liked him. I know I liked him, but these NXT fans go buck wild for Matt Hardy every time he's on screen. They do a nothing promo just to introduce Gabriel. Whatever. And then, so we get to the next match, which is for Gabriel's going to be in. We have William Regal and Skip Sheffield. Skip Sheffield comes out. Dude, I did not expect to see Yip Skip Sheffield coming out. Holy crap, I forgot he was on season 1 of NXT. God, Ryback's such a... Skip, Ryback, whatever you want to call him, he's such a... words I don't want to say right now. So I'll just focus on how he looks now. This is a pairing that is at odds like everybody else. The pro and the rookie don't get along. And Skip Sheffield, it's just as bad now as it was then. In fact, I think it's worse now. I think the Skip Sheffield character is even more of a death knell character. Although I will give him this. He had one good line. I'm going to be handing out how do I do the voice? I'm going to be handing out knuckle sandwiches and humble pie. Alright, that line is kind of cool. It's so bad it's good. You know, it's one of those. It's something I could hear Big Show saying and I'd be like, yeah, go Big Show. But that's the only good thing I have to say about Skip Sheffield. He really, between his accent and his no charisma, he really reminds me of Hardcore Holly when he came out as Bob Holly, the race car driver. It's zero charisma. Zero. Not even white meat babyface. Just nothing. And then we get another huge pop. Because Matt Hardy is out. Yeah, I know Justin Gabriel's there with him. This crowd goes fucking crazy for Matt Hardy. They're chanting for Matt Hardy. He is such a huge star. I don't remember him being this big, but they were all going crazy for Matt Hardy. Gabriel is a side thought, an afterthought in this match, because Matt freaking Hardy is there. Gabriel and Matt, once again, they're one of, two pairings on NXT who work together and like each other, and they work well together. This match is really weird, by the way. This match between, it's a tag match between Matt and Justin versus Skip and Regal. It's a weird match to see on NXT because I'm going to tell you who's in it most of the time. It's not Justin Gabriel. It's Matt Hardy. William Regal and Skip share about an equal amount of time in the ring. Matt Hardy spends the lion's share amount of time in the ring between the four men out there tonight. Like, the most I can remember Gabriel doing is like a 450 splash or something. But that's it. Most of the time it's Matt, and most of the time it's out there, Matt Hardy is getting his ass kicked. Matt Hardy is getting his butt kicked by both NXT rookie Skip Sheffield and grizzled veteran William Regal. I'm not sure what the story of this match was, other than Matt Hardy gets beat up a lot. Skip Sheffield is strong. Oh, look, there's Justin Gabriel doing a flippy thing. It's over. Like, it's a good match, but, like, nothing happens. Matt Hardy just gets his butt kicked the entire time. And this is the main event. And Matt Hardy is just out there getting his butt kicked. Gabriel should have been the one in that ring getting his... I don't know if they, like, couldn't trust him, if he wasn't safe, but he's the one out there getting his ass kicked the entire time. Matt Hardy is, but it should have been Gabriel. At least you could get some sort of sympathy and be like, man, Skip Sheffield's this rookie is really beating up this other rookie. Like, you could at least get something from that. Whatever. Matt Hardy hits a twist of fate. Justin Gabriel hits a 450 splash onto Regal. Crowd pops, quiets down again. It's the end. I feel like a hot tag to, like, because Matt gets kicked all over the ring. I feel like if he had gotten a hot tag to Gabriel, who could have come in, done some flippy stuff, hit a splash, and then got the win, that would have propped the crowd so much more than this. Like, they still seemed off guard, as I was, that the match suddenly was over. Skip Sheffield did fine. It's Ryback, so I'm looking for any kind of botches or mess ups. He did fine. Safe showing. And so we're backstage with all the NXT rookies. It's Matt Striker out there. He's surrounded by him. Bryan, everybody else is standing tall. Bryan is standing there in the corner just holding his tummy. He's like, oh, I'm so beat up. I'm so injured. It was kind of funny. He's selling it really well. It's part of the storyline, and he does it really well. But it just seems so odd that everybody else is standing tall, flexing, stretching, talking about, you know, Matt Striker's talking about how great they are and what's coming up next week. And there's Daniel Bryan in the corner, just huddled over, just ugh. And then Carlito, God, I forget that Carlito is part of the WWE every time he comes on to NXT. He comes up, chews an apple. He's obviously looking at someone to spit it on. And he takes the perfect amount of time going back and forth between all of them. Who am I going to spit it on? He spits it in the face of Heath Slater. And then all he does, you know, I'll reenact it for you. That's cool. And walks off. One, what a heel move to just spit in somebody's face, go, that's cool that I can do that, and then leave. Definitely a heel move. I liked it. It worked really well. But what really sold this for me was Heath Slater's genuine reaction. God, if this was scripted, just like the botch earlier, it's hidden really well because this seems like a genuine reaction Heath Slater would have. And this is the one part I'm going to post at the end of the video of Heath Slater's reaction because it's so well done. He gets spit in the face. Carlito goes, that's cool. Walks off. Heath Slater's like, that's cool? That's all you're gonna walk away from? That's cool? He seems so caught off guard and so in disbelief. So I guess we know what our one of the matches is next week. It's gonna be Carlito and Heath Slater. I'm looking forward to that match. Honestly, I think that's a really good pairing. But I loved how Heath Slater sold it here. But yeah, there's the second episode of NXT. This episode ran really long. It's probably going to be a little late coming out just to get it rendered and everything. Yeah, it's a good show. Much better than the first show. Daniel Bryan is still great. Wade Barrett is still great. Everybody else can kind of go without right now. But Heath Slater, I'm looking to see more of Christian, Heath Slater, Daniel Bryan, and Wade Barrett. Those are the guys I'm looking forward to. But yeah, go watch the show. WWE has all of these up. That's where I'm watching it, is WWE has all of these uploaded to YouTube, and someone put it in a playlist for us. So go ahead and follow along. Go watch the episode if you want to. It was really great. I enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to the next week of NXT. But that's going to do it today for me, guys. If you enjoyed this, please be sure to leave a like. If you enjoy listening to the sound of my voice, and you want to hear more about this stuff, because let's face it, right now I'm doing a lot of different things. Drop a sub. It really helps out. Genuinely. We've gotten up to 37 right now, and I never thought I'd get that far. So that's really cool to see. But I'm going to talk to y'all later. Bye.
That's cool. That's cool. Is that all? You going to walk away from that's cool?
That's NXT.